everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we are going to be doing a blooming gel marble tutorial, and I have kept this in real time, so let me know what you think about that, because it was a shorter, easier video. I thought I'd give this a go. I don't do too many real-time videos, usually I speed them up, so when I was watching this back when editing it, I felt like I was doing nails in slow motion. I didn't realize that I work this slow. But anyway, I'm working on press-on nail tips for this video. I wanted to use up, I basically have loads of these larger thumbnail size press-on nail tips that don't fit me, so I wanted to use them up, and I thought a great way would be to do some videos and create some content. So if you was doing this on your own natural nails rather than a press-on nail tip, I would recommend prepping your nail first of all before coming in with your layer of base coat. This is RB01 from Kiki London, which is a white base coat. And as you can see, it's fairly opaque in one coat. It makes a brilliant base coat for nail art. We're not going to necessarily be seeing much of it, but I thought it would be good to put a white base down. Then we're going to be doing our marble. So I'm going to take 3 blue shades, and then I do add in a white as well. So we've got Keep It Teal to begin with, which is that gorgeous rich blue shade, and then we've got this beautiful pastel baby blue, which is called Sky High Blue. I'm just popping these down on my palette and checking my brush that I'm not contaminating any of them with the previous color. And then I've got this more mint greeny blue, which is called Aqua Waves. All of these are from Kiki London, and you can save 10% with my discount code, which I will leave in the description box below. So as I mentioned, I am going to add in some white as well. So this is classic white from their Hema Free range. Now, this video was inspired by my background. So as you can see, there's a blue, kind of like a soapy marble. It kind of looks like a bath bomb, but then it's got gold flakes in it. And when I pulled it out, I was going to do a floral design, and then it just really inspired me to do some marbles. So that's how this design come about. Now, I've created my marble on my palette, but before I transfer it to the nail, I'm going to put down a layer of blooming gel. Now, you don't have to do this step, but blooming gel gives a marble a really smoky, watery effect, which I absolutely love. You'll kind of see what I mean. So we've placed our layer of blooming gel down. You want to leave this uncured, and then I'm going to scoop up some of my marble using a round nail art brush and just lay it down into that blooming gel. So this is how the marble would look without blooming gel. Basically, it would stay like this. But because we've got that layer of blooming gel down, what it does is it kind of dilutes the marble down and makes the colours spread and bloom, and it creates such an amazing effect. So this is what the marble looks like. I'm going to leave it to bloom for a few seconds. So as you can see, I've popped it down on my nail tip holder, and I'm going to move on and do the exact same on the rest of the nails. And then when you're happy with how much it's bloomed, you pop it into cure, and then that's going to freeze your marble design exactly where it is. So I've just popped down. We're moving on to the second nail design now, and we're going to do the same pretty much on all the nails, but of course the marble will look different. So again, I've come in just a thin layer of blooming gel. You don't need to use loads. I do like to go over the entire nail with it. This way you get a nice even surface and you don't have too much unevenness. And then again, I'm going to scoop up my marble and place it down onto the nail. I'm going to try and do a different pattern on each one, just so that each nail does look slightly different, but it's going to anyway, because that's what's amazing about a marble design. Again, I'm going to set that aside to bloom. It's going to start blooming straight away. The longer you leave it, the more it's going to bloom for. So depend on how, kind of like, if you want your marble to look quite detailed and the lines to look quite crisp, you don't want to leave it to bloom for too long. But if you want that smoky watercolor effect, then you can leave it to bloom for a little bit longer. So as you can see, we're moving on and we're doing the same on the third nail, just placing that marble down in different places. I'm trying to use a really nice light touch and just gently brushing it off of that brush, kind of like wiggling it off that brush. And the great thing about the blooming gel that makes it a little bit easier than going straight over the top of a gel polish or a base coat is it's going to start pulling it off the brush for you, if that makes sense. So you'll see here, scooping into that marble and then a little wriggle, and because there's a wet product on the nail, the The wet marble is just going to adhere to that, and it's going to kind of just pull it off your brush nice and effortless. So I'm going to continue doing that to just fill up this marble. You can kind of place this as much or as random as you wanted. You could go over the entire nail if you wanted to. I've just gone in patches because that's the kind of effect that I wanted to go for. And then once we've got that step done, you are then ready to put these into cure. Before popping them into cure though, I'm gonna let the last one bloom a little bit more so it catches up with the rest of the designs. But can you see how different the first one and the second one look to those last two where they've had a little bit longer to bloom? One thing I'm going to do actually before we do pop these in to cure is pop any little air bubbles. So I'm just taking my dotting tool, and on one or two of the nails there are a few little bubbles in that gel polish, and I'm just going to very gently touch them with my dotting tool, and then they're going to pop and it's not going to affect the design, as you can see. We're then ready to pop these in. I always cure my blooming gel nail art for 60 seconds just because you've applied that gel polish a little bit thicker, so you want to make sure it's fully cured. I'm then going to take some of this gold leaf. This is actually from Charlie's Nail Art. Again, I do have a discount code for Charlie's. I'll try leave it on the screen or in the description box below. But Charlie's Nail Art sell loads of glitters, gold leaf, foils, decals, you name it, nail art wise. They have loads of it at really reasonable prices. So as you can see on my background, there are these gold swooshes in the marble. And I thought this would match with gold leaf perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I've broken up my gold leaf using some tweezers, and then I'm going to take my dotting tool and I'm just going to place this down randomly onto the nail. Now I'm just placing this down in the tacky inhibition layer that's left behind after you've cured your gel polish marble. So it's tacky enough that it will hold those gold leaf pieces in place. I did only do one nail of this in real time. I did speed up doing the rest because it was a bit of a finicky process. I wanted to break these gold leaf pieces up so that there was some smaller and larger size pieces, and I wanted to try and get them so they were like irregular shaped, so it kind of looked quite random on the nail rather than like a block shape. So I'm breaking them up a little bit using my dotting tool, just kind of rubbing over them, and it's going to disperse them a little bit. And then once they're placed down on the nail, that is the design finished. We do actually, that's tell a lie, it's not finished. I do come over the top with a layer of a different milky base coat, a more sheer one, to create a little bit of depth to the nail, but you will see what I mean when we get to that. So I'm going to add on the gold leaf to the other three nails. Whilst I was doing that, I thought I would take a moment to ask you guys, do you have any questions? So anything you're struggling with marbles or blooming gels and I haven't covered in the tutorial, pop them in the comments below and I will be happy to help. I love marble nail art with gel polish. Like I said, you can do it without blooming gel. I do just think adding blooming gel creates a really nice softer effect to the edges of the marble. But of course, if you don't want that look, if you want a more crisp defined marble, then go ahead and do all of the steps same as I did, but without the blooming gel. You can create some amazing nail art designs with blooming gel, like with flowers, animal print. It's such a fun product to have in your nail art kit. I really love creating marbles with it, and I did really enjoy how these turned out. Like I said, it was completely a random video because I was going to do some floral nails, see this background and thought, do you know what, I'm gonna do a blue swooshy marble, and I think they matched the background absolutely perfectly. So this is what they look like once we've got all of that gold leaf applied. I'm then going to take another rubber color base. So this is RB09, and this is a soft milky pink white. It's got a hint of pink to it, but if you go in with one really thin coat, it just adds a milky layer over the top. I really like doing this over any kind of nail design where I've added gold leaf especially, but marbles as well, because it just softens the look and it kind of gives this a bit of depth to the design. It makes that marble look as though it's sunken, it's slightly hidden. Again, this step is completely optional depending on the look you're going for. Because we've got a few brighter colors in this marble, it works well. If you're using quite soft or sheer colours, this might not work as well, creating that milky effect over the top. It might hide them too much, but I really thought adding that milky layer over the top just took the design up a notch, and I really loved how pretty this turned out. It's also going to help encapsulate in your marble and give you a super smooth finish on the nail. So usually I would sometimes, not always, but depending on how the marble's gone and how uneven the nail feels, I would recommend double top coating. But because I've done this layer of milky base coat, I'm not going to double top coat. I'm just going to do the one layer of top coat, because this layer of rubber base has effectively smoothed out any unevenness from the marble design anyway. So once we've done that fourth and final nail, I am going to pop this in to cure for 30 seconds. It does only require a 30-second cure if you are curing in an LED lamp. If you are curing in a UV lamp, I would recommend curing it for 2 minutes. All of the Kiki London products do have their cure times on the back of the bottle, which I think is brilliant, because some top coats require a 60-second cure and some only require a 30. All of their gel polish colours do only require a 30-second cure. So we're now going to come in and top coat. So I top coated to begin with using my Kiki London No Wipe rubber top coat. This is my go-to top coat for any kind of top coat, that any kind of nail art that I want to encapsulate. It's a thicker consistency top coat, so again it smooths everything out and gives you that encapsulated layer over the top of the design. However, it did run out, so I just couldn't be asked scraping the bottom of the bottle. I need to order a new one. So I switch here to my crystal top coat, which is a high shine no wipe top coat. It's not as thick as the rubber top coat, but it's going to still encapsulate everything in nicely. But if you do have a rubber top coat to hand, I always recommend doing a rubber top coat over the top of any kind of nail art, just to get that encapsulated super smooth finish. But as we're going to go in anyway and top coat using the rest of these nails using the crystal top coat, and then once I have finished top coating them, I'm going to pop this in to cure for 60 seconds, and then that, guys, is the end of the design. So I really hope you all enjoyed watching. I hope you picked up some blooming gel marble tips and tricks. If you did enjoy today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and hit that subscription button if you haven't already. I hope you're all doing wonderful. Let me know in the comments below how you're all doing, and I shall hopefully see you all again in the next video. Thank you all so much for watching. Lots of love. Take care. Bye bye.